First breaking news from overnight.
This happened around 2:30 this morning.
Right when you need it.
They have an entire block that's been closed off.
Today's morning news.
There are 4 cars involved in this accident at this part of Glenwood. You can see 2 trucks right here, but there are 2 cars also in the back. Maggie, Doug, 3 accidents just happened in the last 5 minutes right here. This was about 5:22. I talked with the paramedic who was first on scene here just a second ago. He told us he helped the couple out. This is what fire crews are dealing with right now, and we'll bring you the latest as it develops. It's about 5 minutes just after 1 o'clock. Everyone just started getting in. The problem was they couldn't get the second door open right here. Once they got it open, it all started to move much more smoothly. Things are so slippery right now that Idaho State Police are taking measurements of just how bad things are. And they're saying that the road is just a sheet of ice right now. Just a few minutes ago, firefighters opened up the road. They opened up 2 lanes on Fairview. They took the tape down and let cars through the area. But you can still see right back here, there's a firefighter with a hose that's putting it on top of some flames that have flared up. This is 16th Avenue right here on Napa. You can see that the road is blocked off and they're diverting traffic. When police arrived on scene, they said they found the driver here complaining of pain to his chest. They also said they found 2 children in the back seats here, and amazingly, they were uninjured. The car came right through this area on 27th Street, plowed through this yard. There was no car here, so it kept going straight through, and then it ended up in this building right here. You can see right there it's been boarded up. The person left out through the back door, went on foot, and now police are looking, and they had K-9 units. They have also a number of police officers looking.
Our Edgar Linares was dispatched actually last night. You've been here for a long time. You're calling these miracle stories that you have found.
There's a couple of folks that are in this lying area that had really close calls. They're safe now, but they spent the night in the dark after they were thrown from their boat. Coming up, we'll tell you their amazing story and how they were rescued next. There's about a dozen tubs that were built just off of Rocky Canyon. Now, they were built illegally, and the man who built them has already been punished. But now that they're going to be torn down, the public feels like they're the ones who are going to be paying the price.
The words gorgeous and beautiful come to mind.
If you drive through Rocky Canyon, you might miss them. Cascading pools that line the side of this mountain. At the top, it's a hot 107 degrees, and gradually they cool.
Oh, I love it.
These pools were built without a permit by one man.
He was very cooperative. He's a well-intentioned individual, but he was violating a regulation of the Forest Service.
He paid a fine and did community service as a punishment. Now, a year after they were built, the U.S. Forest Service says the cement tubs need to be destroyed.
People don't realize that it's illegal to construct those structures that they built there.
Erickson is not the only one who feels the tubs need to go. A spokesman for the Shoshone-Paiute Indian tribe says the hot springs are sacred and are being misused with alcohol, drugs, and sex.
Hot springs are a place where people go for healing, prayer, ceremonies.
Many we spoke with agree the hot springs are sacred, but they think the tubs should be kept the way they are. They commended the man who built them.
He had to pay community service for what he did here, as if this wasn't the biggest community service this guy could have done. The guy should have some kind of little monument and being recognized down here.
When you heard that these pools may be leaving, may be gone, what did you think about that?
I almost cried.
Now Brant Seafelt and Mary Hildreth are gathering support to keep the pools intact. They say the public should have a say on what happens to them.
The conversation should be now, and the ideas of how to improve something that already exists is A, more cost effective, and be more logical than ripping it down and maybe starting anew.
What people are essentially asking me to do is to ignore management of the forest and meeting our regulations.
After the tubs are destroyed, the U.S. Forest Service says that might be the time when they can have that discussion on what can be done to develop this area. In Rocky Canyon, Edgar Linares, Idaho's News Channel 7. Well, Carolyn, the best way to describe that section of road between Boise and Mountain Home is slick and icy. It was treacherous for a lot of drivers, and we saw firsthand just how dangerous that road can get.
Too fast for conditions.
Crash after crash, emergency crews spent the morning pulling out cars and flipping them back over on all 4 wheels. This car had 3 people in it, 2 men and a little girl. All of them escaped without injuries. As the wind picked up and the snow came down, conditions got worse. Things are so slippery right now that Idaho State Police are taking measurements of just how bad things are. And they're saying that the road is just a sheet of ice right now.
This is called the drag box, and what we do is we take a drag factor of the roadway to figure out how slippery it is.
A .8 is summer-like conditions with plenty of traction. A .2 is like a skating rink.
As you can see, it's going right around 1.6, 1.7.
Even though drivers slowed down, To better handle the conditions, we continued seeing more accidents. Police say the man in this pickup lost control and rolled near the Stage Stop gas station. He had minor injuries. 4 miles farther down the road, this semi is parked after it jackknifed. But it was near Mountain Home where we saw the worst accident. 2 men got trapped in this truck.
Lost control, slid off the shoulder here and overturned.
The crushed cab made it difficult for crews to get the men out. Using the jaws of life, rescuers cut the men out of the wreckage and put them on stretchers. The men had neck and back injuries. Is this one of the worst days you've seen on a road like this to stretch your legs?
This year it is, so far, yeah.
We witnessed ended with just very minor injuries. Luckily, a lot of them left with minor injuries. Now, rescue crews say that if you didn't have to drive between Boise and Mountain Home today, or if you still don't have to, they recommend you stay home during this time because it's just really slick out there, Carolyn.
Boy, is it still as bad right now as it was earlier today?
We were driving on that road maybe about an hour and a half ago when we got back, and maybe about an hour ago we were driving on that road, and it was still pretty icy. If you're heading towards Mountain Home, it's a little bit more icier than if you're driving towards Boise. Reason being is because the winds hit that side of the road first, and that's the one that's just covered with ice.
Well, I was amazed at that measuring device that police were using. I have never seen that before.
Me neither. Me neither. That's why I thought it was really unique to show that there. They compared the road to an ice rink. It was that bad. Inmates helped build the old Idaho Penitentiary in 1872. 101 years later, prison officials closed the doors and inmates all left bound for a new prison. 36 years later, stories of ghosts and paranormal activity haunt the prison. Amber Byerly is a historian here.
Well, this would have been part of the main yard area.
She took me on a tour that touched on escapes, tall tales, ghost stories, and paranormal sightings. The first stop on the tour, maximum security.
And this is where, you know, the worst of the worst would stay.
Just up the stairs and to the left is an area that inmates dread.
This is death row, so this is where inmates who were sentenced to be executed would have spent their final months, final years. We are going to be going into the gallows.
A place where inmates were executed by hanging. Raymond Snowden was one of them. Snowden was convicted of first-degree murder and executed in 1957, but something happened during his execution.
With hanging, it is supposed to snap the spinal cord. It's supposed to be an instant death, but it took him about 15 minutes to die.
Now some say his ghost remains locked in these cells. Byerly then took us to the oldest building on the property.
This is where a lot of people claim to, you know, they said, when I went into that building, man, I just got the feeling that somebody was watching me.
Then she took us to solitary confinement, known to inmates as Siberia.
So you can see, I can't stretch out at all.
The longest recorded stay here is a year and a half. This is a place where guards say some inmates went insane.
I'm here somewhat alone a lot of the time, and you can't deny the creepy feelings that go on.
At the old Idaho Penitentiary, Edgar Linares, Idaho's News Channel 7.
911 emergency? Hi, I just saw a huge explosion in the sky. Dispatch, can I help you? Yeah, are you getting any reports of a large flash in the northwestern sky around Boise here?
It happened around 6:20 in the morning, and it lit up the sky and the phone banks for Ada County Dispatch.
Okay, this is non-emergency. We got 11 911 calls and 19 non-emergency calls all within about 20 minutes or so.
The Federal Aviation Administration confirmed it was a meteor.
It was so bright, it was just unbelievable. It just shocked me.
It was spotted in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. This video was from a surveillance camera from a Spokane Valley hospital.
This big green streak of light that appeared to be like a meteorite or a meteoroid or asteroid came streaking through the sky, lit up the whole sky, probably a good 15 feet circumference all around it.
Cody Reamer was coming home from work and says this is the third one he spotted this week.
Last night on my way to work, I saw one that appeared to be over the airport.
And I was like, someone's setting fireworks off at 6:30 in the morning?
Anita Holmes spotted the meteor near 10 Mile in Amity. Anita said she was driving to work on this road. Suddenly, she turned and saw some green sparks coming from a field right next to her.
It was blinding light, and I was like, what is that? And I turned to my left, and there was just green sparks on the ground.
Even though it lasted only a few seconds, it brightened up the morning for many. Edgar, Idaho's News Channel 7.